Welcome to another Empowering Your Circle podcast. And today I'm really happy to be chatting with the lovely Amber Silverman because she's an amazing nutritional therapist, somebody who is very supportive and helps take helps us get through the responsibility we need for our health, but also to try and help us enjoy what we eat in a balanced way, which is something I love. You have to kind of think, I don't want to give up everything I like. So the bit that I really like about Amber is she's very supportive, but not just supportive, but I think in a very practical way as well, because obviously it's very important to support people, but you also have that practicality as well that comes along with it.
Yeah.
So, and I get the feeling that Amber is just non-judgmental. So there's a lot of things that go on in our lives, and I'm sure she's going to tell us a few things potentially, but it's really important that in this kind of space, you need someone who's going to look at you and not judge
100%.
the way you live your life right now and where you kind of want to go, and then you slip back a little bit and all sorts of things. So I remember someone, a personal trainer, but also a nutritionist kind of thing. And one day she said to me, you can't do anything more at the minute. And I said, why not? And she said, your mindset's not there. And it stuck with me all the way through because I figured it's part of nutrition as well. It's like if your mindset's not there, we're just going to get nowhere. So welcome,
Interesting. Yeah.
Amber.
Thank you. Thank you. It's so exciting.
So I'm looking forward to this.
I mean, I think I kind of realized about 3 or 4 years ago that like it is so much about this is about coaching and behavior change. And I kind of realized that so much of what I do is like just coaching my clients to understand what their behavior is and where it's coming from, and like kind of helping support that change that they need. So it's not just about what they're eating, but how to change behaviors and habits. And actually I ended up doing kind of going right into it and doing a coaching qualification. Although I was kind of doing it naturally anyway, it was kind of interesting just to go off on that tangent for a bit, and just sort of learn a bit more about how to coach and what that looks like. But yeah, I mean, I think, the thing, like you said, is I always say this to my clients, I think we're all on a journey, and like we've all been in better places, worse places, we've eaten, we've had periods of time when we've felt like great about what we're eating, and other times when we've just been like, oh my God, I can't get my shit together, and so the non-judgment, I guess, is like, we all know that we can get into those places, and it's just how do we get out of them, and like, what choices you're making at those points. I mean, people can get stuck there for years, obviously, but also, sometimes you just need to like a helping hand just to hold you and kind of just get you out of that slump. And
No, I agree. Because slumping stuff is really important because, if you've gone through something that's kind of really bad and you don't know how to get out of it, or you're grieving or whatever, you tend to find that you go to the comfort foods that you probably shouldn't have. And therefore you start to feel sluggish. And then it's hard to get yourself motivated to get out and then go, okay, now I know I have to give that up. But once you've been doing it for a little while, that's really hard. And I'm here testament to that. With all the things that I've been through, like with losing my parents and stuff, I know that there has been a very rocky road for me to get kind of, pulling myself out to start eating the right thing. So it is, and it makes it hard to get up and go, I'm going to go and exercise. Because if you're not eating properly, it's really hard.
100%.
Which brings me in.
Go on. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
No, I was going to say, I mean, something? I had, I also like, I had, some very deep grief a couple of years ago. I lost my brother, and, I did also have that experience where I was just like comfort eating, albeit maybe in a slightly healthy way, but like, I was eating toast every day for breakfast with peanut butter kind of thing, which to me is like, I don't do that often. So,
Yeah.
kind of just doing the stuff that, yeah, I needed it. It was like
Yeah.
kind of, I didn't want to eat salads. I didn't want to eat like kind of cold food. I needed comfort. I did need
Yeah.
comfort, and
And
like
see,
it's trying to understand what that looks like, how you can kind of, and actually I learned a lot from that experience about how to support people, in those difficult times. And that, like, it is really like not you can't do a one case fits all. It's like, where are they, where is that person at, and what do they really need at that time, in difficult times when it's really hard.
yeah, I think it's true because we might all be going through it, but we are definitely handling things in a different way.
Yeah.
And it it is just one of those things. You just want to feel comfort, and a salad, although it's very good for you, is not really the thing that sounds comforting.
No.
Although toast with peanut butter sounds a lot more tempting than sort of
Yeah.
going, okay.
I mean, we're all human, like I was saying to some people the other day, like for me, I love January. I love being able to go, right, okay, I'm drawing a line under that. I'm gonna like, I'm quite good in my mindset at just going, okay, I am starting. And I'm human too. I enjoyed December. I kind of, ate probably too many roast potatoes and too many glasses of wine, whatever it was, like people say to me, well, what do you eat? I mean, most of the time I eat really well, but there are obviously moments. And so I think, we are all human. We all understand. That's why there isn't a judgment, because everyone's got different reasons for what they're doing and why they're doing it. And my job is just to help support them to get out, to just start slowly to change that place.
So both of us are business owners, and with that brings a lot of busyness. It
Yeah.
gives us, not only are we looking after our clients, but we're trying to market and finance and,
Yeah.
everything that relates around a business and owning it. So then we get stressed. And then we face some difficult challenges. A client said yes, then they say no, or suddenly you forget to have completed your tax return on time, and suddenly you're stressing and all sorts of things because it's tax time now. So that's why I'm bringing that up. But then again, see, we might eat the wrong things, or you're rushing between meetings and you go, oh, I haven't eaten anything. And then you kind of stop and get something very random. And you sort of think, okay, that's all right, because like I'm on the go and I can't do anything else. I didn't pack a healthy lunch or whatever because I've been meeting. So have you got any kind of tips for people to think, right, you're really busy, but you have to still look after your health, your gut, and that sort of stuff. So, have you got any kind of tips for people who are like
I've got so
living
many
these very
tips.
busy lives?
I've got so many tips. I've got tips for every scenario, Hazel.
I know you do.
Okay, so I do think like eating healthily, or like in a way that's going to nourish yourself, does take a little bit of planning and preparation. Like, it's really hard if you like in the moment think, I'm really hungry, what am I going to eat, and like looking around for something. So you do need to like a little bit forward plan. That makes enormous amount of difference when it comes to being able to look after yourself in extremely busy scenarios, which, to be honest, most of my clients are like, they're family people. They're trying to like, feed the kids and do their work and, do all the stuff. Everybody. I mean, you don't very often meet people who aren't in that situation, to be honest. And so, understanding meal preps, easy, my sort of strap line for all my recipes, which I have got a recipe app and put a lot of recipes on Instagram, is simple, delicious, nutritious. So I don't think it has to be complicated at all. A piece of salmon with some steamed broccoli and, half an avocado. I don't know, like, there's like, you don't have to be cooking to kind of come up with nourishing food. But I think if you've got a meeting the next day and you're not going to have any time to food prep, it's like making enough dinner that you can take to work the next day. You can kind of create, like making your stuff the night before, like knowing, like, what does tomorrow look like? Shall I boil myself some eggs for breakfast? Shall I make some, you know, birch and muesli that's soaking overnight that I can just eat on the go, or, you know, doing some food prep for a salad. You know, I had that the other day. I cooked some quinoa, added some seeds, you know, and then I just threw it onto some greens, and it was kind of good enough, you know, to get me
Yep.
through to the next
Yeah.
thing type thing. Or
Yep.
soup, you know, like I talk a lot to people about freezing portions of food. You know, if you're sitting at home all day on a meeting, at least you can get like your portion of soup out the freezer. You
Yep.
know, it like
Yep.
it's just thinking a little bit ahead as to how you can do that, and also how you shop, when you shop. You know, I
Yeah. It's one
mean,
of those things, isn't it? I have to say, I've used my slow cooker about 4 or 5 times because I'm
right,
like, right, I'm up early, up
yeah,
early, get it all together, put the slow cooker
great,
on, go out to work, come back,
yeah.
and I'm like, I feel
Oh, it
now I
smells
have to
good in
think about
here.
what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
And also, if somebody wants to eat before me, they can have their stuff and it's still there for me when I
I
arrive
love that.
home.
Yeah,
So, but they're always, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because they're always from scratch. And I'm always conscious of what I put in there, like, you know, lots of veggies and whatever. And I have to admit, I'm not a very good cook, but I do my best and I do follow a good recipe. But I find that I reckon my slow cooker recipes are probably more nutritious, even though they're probably quicker to do at the beginning and then they take all that time. But I feel like that's my. Um,
that's
but what's
amazing.
interesting is I was going to ask you a question. Going back to your Bersha, is it the overnight oats?
But yeah,
I don't
birch and
know.
muesli.
Yeah. Are they easy to make, for anybody? Because I think there's a lot of people out there that I know like
Yeah.
them, but they pick them up at a Pret or whatever that costs about nearly
Oh
four
yeah.
pounds or £5 or whatever. So,
I've got quite a lot. I mean, breakfast recipes are kind of an area that I really love, because I find it kind of an exciting meal, which, you know, I think is really important. Like, and actually, when you're talking about breakfast, it doesn't really matter if doesn't have to be like as soon as you wake up. Like breakfast, the sort of concept of breakfast is it's the first thing you eat after fasting. So you're breaking the fast. And it doesn't matter
right,
if it's at 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning. What you want is the first thing you eat to be balancing your blood sugars, not
mhm,
causing you big sugar spikes, and being, you
right,
know, a good, rounded, nourishing meal. So, you know, rather than like rushing for a croissant, making a batch of muesli, or even like making your own granola. So you can like do yogurt, granola, bit of fruit, done, you know. But the birch and muesli is just soaking some oats overnight. You know, people do it in apple juice. So I wouldn't particularly recommend it, but you know, you can do it in a juice, or I would probably do non-dairy milk, and it just kind of expands and it softens, and then you can add you know, nuts, and you can add some seeds into that, so like some flaxseed, chia seeds into the birch
yep.
while it soaks, and then in the morning you just put a dollop of yogurt, maybe some berries, grated apple, fruit compote, anything like
Mm.
that. So
Of course, that's so easy.
it's very easy. It's
So,
delicious.
so
And
I'm going to do some tonight with my oatmeal. I bet it won't last very long in the morning because the boys will notice it in the fridge and go, "What's this?" And all of a sudden I'll be like,
sometimes you have to
"None
like
left."
add a bit of extra liquid to kind of loosen it up a bit. So
Yeah,
it's, you know, but especially if you put the seeds in, because the seeds just absorb a lot of liquid. So,
right.
but
And
you know,
I went out and got myself some is it chai
yeah,
seeds and
yeah,
and my flax and stuff. I already got some of that. And what was interesting was, as I was buying it, I looked at it and I thought, my dad would go into the kitchen in the mornings and like literally make this, you know, get his bowl of cereal and stuff. And then you'd see him, he'd be putting that on top and that on top and that
yeah,
on top and that
yeah.
on top. And I used to look there and we say, "Oh my gosh, Dad." And then I suddenly realized, oh gosh, now I'm doing it. But I used to say to him, "How much are you putting extra stuff?" And he's like, "Yep." So he had all the stuff and he was putting it on his cereal. So
He knew.
yes, he
Yeah.
did.
So, I mean,
So
because a lot of people miss out protein in the morning, you know, like, especially if they're just eating like toast and honey, or, you know, just sort of packaged processed cereals. so like adding the seeds and the nuts onto your muesli or the porridge or yogurt, that's your protein, and protein is really important. That helps you keeps you feeling full for longer, and you need to make sure you're having protein at every meal, so it's going to be good.
Right.
Sounds
There we go.
delicious.
So you mentioned about, yes, we should be planning our meals, and I totally agree. Again, people are busy. So should people be planning it down to the last, like to every single meal, or just kind of going, maybe even if they're really busy, I'm going to plan my evening meal maybe and really focus in on buying for that? Because I'm just thinking people are really busy. So when you go shopping,
Yeah.
it's like,
I mean, it's going to work differently for everyone, depending on if you're single, with a family, got kids, who's doing all the stuff. Often it is the women, isn't it? Right? The
yeah,
mums are like working and they're cooking and they're shopping and, it's like, so I think I have got clients who, for them, like if they can write everything down and they know exactly what they're doing, like life is just easier. Like they order their food on us, they get their shopping delivered on a Sunday, everything's there for the week. I think it really is dependent on you as a person. Obviously, you don't want to open the fridge and you haven't got the ingredients you need for the thing that you really
yeah,
want to make. And so part of it, I think, is really how do you shop? And I talk through that with clients because it is important. Like, if you're walking past a shop every day and you can just pick up a couple of things on the way home from work, it's very different to I'm cooking for 5 people every night
yeah,
and I've got
true.
like 2 teenage boys who are always starving, and what am I gonna, I need to, like, you need a proper meal. Like, I don't know,
Yeah,
like at the moment I'm at home, me and my husband, my kids are both back at uni, traveling. We can kind of, I can kind of wing it a bit, like it's fine.
yeah.
I don't mind an omelette in the evening or a bowl of soup. I don't
No,
have to like make a big whole to do for everybody, but obviously it's different if that is. So it is really personal, I think. I think people who struggle to get themselves together with what they're cooking, it can be really helpful just to think about, you know, um, maybe having a couple of sort of soup nights, a couple of simple sort of protein based, like a chicken and a tray bake nights kind of thing.
hmm
And maybe one night out the free, like kind of just thinking it like kind of a bit more conceptual, just to try
yeah,
and break it up a bit, make it easier.
yeah. So do you guide people as well on, I mean, obviously we go into a supermarket and there's all these labels and you read it and you think, oh my gosh, now what does this contain? Especially if you might have an allergy or
Yeah.
something. Like for example, a couple of years ago, I found, they said, oh, your cholesterol's a little bit high. So I was like, okay, I need to get rid of the saturated fat. But that means that I'm walking around looking at the back of every single thing before I put it in my trolley in case I've got something that's like too high or too low or whatever. So
Mm.
is that something, I mean, obviously that's really important for us to think about, but is that something you also guide people on?
100%. Yeah. I mean, understanding food labels. I mean, ideally not buying stuff with labels on, because like,
Yeah.
in the ideal world, you'd be cooking from scratch. So you've got you like I would say, like, if you're eating a whole food diet where you've got like, every ingredient you recognize, and you're cooking something like, you don't need to look at ingredients. Like if you're making a bircher muesli, you don't need to go and buy a packet of cereal and then
No.
understand it. So, I mean, of course, we do need convenience foods in some ways. Life is, like you said, really busy, and there are some that are better than others. So, but yeah, I mean, understanding a little bit about food labels, and certainly understanding that if you don't recognize an ingredient, maybe don't buy
Mm.
it.
Yeah, no, I get it. And also, I think it's interesting because someone said to me when, just in passing, they said, when we go shopping, we hold it up and we go, right. Now, someone said we shouldn't get the low fat. We should just get the full fat because
Yeah,
actually it's better for us or
yeah.
something. And I was like, okay, all right, I don't know. But
Mm.
that was interesting concept because of course we kind of go, oh, that says low fat, so that's better for us. But is
No,
that right?
low fat, no. I
No,
wouldn't I
I
wouldn't
didn't think
encourage
so, but I
people to
just
have
thought,
low fat.
Yeah.
This is that kind of the real challenge that nutritional therapists and other sort of health professionals have, is like, we got so ingrained decades ago that fat was bad, and actually fat isn't, in the main the issue. What's the issue is the sugar.
Yeah.
Sugar's the
Okay.
thing that we want to avoid. So, you know, like a lot of the time I'm trying to encourage people to eat good fats, understanding what the difference between good fats and bad fats, and how, so yeah, like eating a full fat yogurt is good, like a natural yogurt, rather than adding like one, when you look at the ingredients, it's not full of sugar, because a lot of the time it's low fat, then other things are added to make it taste better.
Right.
But
Okay.
if you're trying to lose weight, and you are, you need to be careful balancing the fats that you're eating. But that's when I would say you want to reduce your saturated fat, increase your fats from other sources like nuts, seeds, oily fish, avocado, and
You're so
that kind
full
of
of
thing.
wisdom. See, people need to go and see you to help them get.
Moderation, everything in balance,
Yeah.
moderation. There's some key kind of principles that are important to understand.
Yes, which I know you have like 7 rules, and I know we don't have necessarily time for you to cover all of them in any major detail, because I know you've written a nice long article about it, which I can share with everybody. But if you can give us a little bit of an overview about what those 7 rules are that we should kind of be thinking about.
We have actually touched on like 4 of them, which is
Yep.
about breakfast being like your blood sugar levels being balanced, eating sort of I think thinking about food in a way that's like simple or complex, like
Right.
simple food, like, cornflakes, let's say, becomes sugar very quickly in your blood. Like, it will spike your blood sugar levels. Whereas complex food like a jumbo oats with seeds, if you compared those two as a breakfast cereal kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
like, they almost incomparable. But people
Right.
people eat them both for breakfast. So how complex is your food? Like, is it? I guess it's like thinking about, like, I need to chew it. If
Right.
I'm chewing it, I'm like breaking it down. It's not going to like become sugar really quickly in my blood, and that's a real
Okay.
big
Now I get it.
problem. So yeah, eating nutrient dense complex foods is really important. Understanding fats and just making sure that you are eating good fats, because fats are like, you know I mean, they're, you know so much of our brain, our mental health. We've got like mental health crisis, so like really kind of
Yep.
understanding why, especially kids, kids just don't eat enough good fats, which is very concerning, because their concentration levels, anxiety, depression, mental health generally, it's
Yeah.
really problematic. So, again, having nuts and seeds on your cereal or your porridge, that's a good start. Like, if you were a parent and you were able to kind of get some of those into your kid on the way before they go to school, that would be good. So yeah, just understanding good fats and making sure, I'd say, having them every day, daily
Mm-hmm.
portion. Yeah, the food prep, like planning a little bit, just making sure you've got what you need in the fridge to be able to do what you need, using your freezer, and enjoying your food. I think, like, it's really important. And I always, like, my aim is kind of to try and inspire people to enjoy their food. So I'm not just like, oh, right, now you've got to take this out, you've got to take that out. Life's going to be so miserable because you're not eating anything that you like. Like, it doesn't have to be like that. Like, and if I ever say to someone, look, I don't know, like, it's really good to have some fermented foods. Why don't you try some sauerkraut? And they eat it and they're like, oh my God, it's disgusting. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Don't eat it. Don't eat things that you think are disgusting, because that's not going to be
Yeah.
good for you. Like, mentally, it's not good for you. So we'll find an alternative. If you don't like that, let's try this.
Yeah.
So yeah, just enjoy the food that you're eating. And also, I think, just try and have some gratitude for the fact that we're able to buy this, like, in where we live. Well, we're
Yeah.
lucky. So just, like, I think, um slowing down, just trying to slow down, be mindful. They're all really important parts of eating. And I think I would say as well, like, we don't all need the same things. So, you know, if you're a 50-year-old mum with teenage boys, you kind of don't want to be eating how your teenage boys are eating. That they are very different people, and it's very hard. Like, that is one of the things that people struggle with, is how do I eat for me, even though I'm feeding them? And so just like a lot of what I do is like sort of, you know, trying to find the pockets of time when you can eat how you need, and how do you rebalance your plate so that you're sitting down for a family meal, but you're eating what you need, and sort of prioritizing yourself, I suppose.
Yeah. It's good that you do that as well for people, because actually that's a big thing, because you're cooking and you think, okay, I really like that, but you know it's bad. But then you have to think, well, when I look down at my plate, I have to feel like it's something that looks equally as good and tastes as good,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because otherwise you're going to sit there and you'll be having food envy, and that won't be good either, I would assume. So, yeah.
Sometimes it's just about the balance on the plate, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Like you talked about Christmas, when you're like, okay, you know, it's too many of this and too many of that and whatever, because that's what you tend to overindulge in. Um, but one of the things you also just mentioned as well was eat like slowly. I think sometimes if you're really busy, you're just like, blah, 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 and you just eat it all, and you just like, you've never got time to let it digest. It's just all, you know, and I think obviously slowing it down is very important, isn't it? Like the way we chew it, and
the
it's
way
a,
we chew it, the digestive process begins in the mouth. You know, we start to break down food with the enzymes in the mouth. So, you know, it is important. It helps the digestive system do a better job if you help it at the beginning. Do you know what I mean? Like, it kind of makes sense. It's like so obvious, but and also, you know, it takes time to feel full. So everyone knows, you know, you can eat and eat and eat, and then like 15 minutes later, you're like, oh my God, I'm so full. I feel so bloated. You're like, well, if you'd slowed down a bit, your brain would have caught up with that, like had time to catch up with that, and you might have not
yeah.
eaten all that food.
I have to
So,
say the only food that I used to find I'd be wanting to eat again 2 or 3 hours later, I don't know why, was Chinese food. I don't know why. We'd have it, and then like you'd feel not empty, but you'd kind of feel like a little bit peckish again a little while later.
well,
I
that
don't know
can
why that
be,
is.
I mean, either often like simple foods do make us feel like that. So,
Right.
you know, often you find kids who just eat a bowl of cereal for breakfast, you know, one of the like Cheerios or something. You know, it could be a big bowl of it, but they're hungry an hour later because it's just not nourishing enough. So it's a bit
Yeah.
like that, especially with like white rice and, you know, I mean, Chinese food obviously what can have MSG in, which is not great for you. Well,
Right.
you know.
So if I'm going to make sure people have got access to your Instagram when
Mm.
I share this, because I'm loving the recipes that you put up there. I just think they're really important. Um, but for everybody who picks up and listens to the podcast, what is it that is there like a program that you'd love them to be involved in and that sort of thing?
Um, I mainly I do like a few different things. I see people privately, one to one, anything from 4 to 12 weeks. So depending on the complexity of your health needs, you know, I'm really helping like change behavior, like we talked about at the beginning. Um, Ideally for it to be sustainable, long-term behavior change. So, you know, really kind of helping people like look at how they manage their food in a week, from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to bed, and all the different things in between, how they shop, how they stress, sleep, cook. So I've got a program where I'm just working one-to-one with people. I also run workshops. I do really nice workshops for groups of people, like group of friends, say could be middle-aged women who are all like sort of menopausal, like how to eat well for menopause. I do workshops for people who want to try and understand how to be gluten-free or how to reduce sugar. Like if you've got a group of friends who are interested in learning, that's a really nice thing to do, like a one-off. Like I go to someone's house and everyone sits around the table and we talk and I share food ideas and that kind of thing. That's nice. I do cooking lessons with people. So I like, it's quite a nice thing to do if you don't feel very confident. Like I've done several, I'll go to someone's house, they'll choose 4 or 5 dishes and we'll make them together. And I think sometimes, it's like being practical, hands-on can really help you go, oh, okay, now I get it. Like what that is meant to look like and taste like. And so that's a nice thing to do. So yeah, like all different ways. I mean, I have you can like get in touch with me. I have a free discovery call and I chat about what you need. But it's all about any different health issue and where you're kind of looking to take some responsibility and feel empowered to look after yourself a bit better. And it's like an education, you like learning something about what you need. And a lot of us don't actually get that from our parents. Because it's all historical, right? They just teach you what they knew, and that's what their grandparents did, and that's what their grandparents did. So like at some point it's like it's quite nice
on and on.
It's quite nice to like, oh, hold on a minute, how do I actually want to eat? Like how do I actually make a choice about this rather than being it's just like generational.
So I was going to say, you said you do the like the cooking and stuff, which it sounds really good. What I was going to say was obviously that would be really good as well for like university students and stuff, who are literally wanting to, because one of the places I worked before starting my business, I used to work with grads a lot, and they used to come in and heat up food in the microwave. Oh my gosh, it smelled so good. And most of them cooked it themselves because they'd been told how to cook a chili or whatever. And
nice.
I'd say, oh, who made that? And someone said, it was me. And the girls around them said, how did you learn to cook? And they said, oh, Mum didn't send us away to uni until we knew how to cook at least 3 dishes. So, and it's true though, because I think there's a lot of people who don't know how to do that. So I guess that's another thing.
It's a huge thing, isn't it? Like, I mean, my kids, funnily enough, when they were living at home, always like, oh, Mum, you're so annoying, always talking about food. And just because you're a nutritional therapist, I was like, no, it's not because I'm a nutritional therapist. It's because I'm a mum and I like cooking and I care. And then when they left and went to university, they were like, Mum, how'd you make that thing? Mum, how'd you do that thing? And now they do cook, but like they didn't want me to tell them when they were here. But then when they realised, oh, actually, I do need to know that.
Yeah, actually, I do need to know. Yeah.
Yeah, need to know basis.
Yes, I mean, my oldest one is actually not too bad if you give him, like, if he really gets inspired enough. The younger one should be a little bit more because he's doing food and nutrition for A levels, so that should kind of push him through a little bit more. But it's a really good A level. He's learning so much. So I guess, now that we've heard quite a lot about how you can help people, and again, we'll put all the links so people can find you and look at the recipes and get involved. But before we go, have you got a really good quote to share with people?
Yes, I have. This is a quote that I like. It's from C.S. Lewis. And the quote is this: you cannot go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, because people will come to you.
You can just make a choice. You can like go. I mean, for me as well, especially like I think getting older, I'm like, I want to age well. I want to like, I'm 55 next month, and like, I want to feel good in my old age. I don't want to feel like I don't want to.
Yes, we're not quite there yet. I'm already 55. We're not quite at old age yet.
No, but we are like, these are the important years to
I
kind of
know they are the important years.
get
Yeah,
to get
yeah,
on it, because
yeah.
it does make a difference. So
It
yeah, I
definitely
think
does.
just like going, do you know what? Okay, I did that. That's what happened. Draw a line. Okay.
Yeah. And I think you have to do that. And it's more than just saying at the beginning of the year, I'm going to eat more healthy. So
Yes.
when in my job, when I work with people and I'm coaching them, like in terms of their skills and all that sort of stuff, I talk to them about you have to set a SMART goal. So you have to set it in such a way that it's measurable, because if you're
Yeah.
not doing that,
Yeah.
it's just saying I'm going to eat more healthy means
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
nothing. It doesn't mean anything to anybody.
No.
And we can all
100%.
say it
And
because it's
people
just
say it to
words
me
that,
all the time when they come and see me, oh, I eat quite healthily. I'm like, okay, but there's something's not
yeah, when you,
right. Like, you're
yeah,
unwell, you've got all these symptoms. So you can eat healthily, but you're not necessarily nourishing yourself. And it's understanding what
yeah,
that means. That's a different thing. It's like, what do I actually need right now?
yeah. Oh,
So yeah.
oh, Amber, thank you so much for some amazing tips and information, which is going to be helpful for so
No.
many people.
Oh, it's
Um,
lovely
so,
to talk to you.
and I'm looking forward to catching up with you personally soon, not online.
Cool. All right, lovely.
So,
All right, lovely to talk to you.
you too. Thank you.